So our first question is pretty straightforward, and it might be a question that you hear a lot from previous athletes that become broadcasters. How did Wake translate from being a player and going into the booth and being a TV guy?
He did it so seamlessly. I think the one thing Tim Wakefield always had was an unbridled passion for the game and combined with a love of the Red Sox. Like he really loved this team, this organization. He came from the Pittsburgh Pirates, was born and raised in Florida, but he became a New Englander through and through. Married Stacy, who was a local girl from here, and just set up roots. So I think that connection to the town really allowed him to sort of see the game the way the fans see it, and it made him the perfect broadcaster.
And I know a lot of people have had their favorite memories in the past couple of hours, past couple of days, whether it was him as a player or him in the booth. Specifically talking about the booth, what's your fondest memory of Tim as a coworker?
Oh, that is such a great question. I don't know if there's any one that stands out, but I always, and I was just talking to Alex Cora about this, that whenever we were here at Fenway, so many people would come up to him and talk to him and thank him for '04. And the thing I learned from him is always have time for that conversation. He made every fan he met feel special. He would take time, listen to their stories about what happened in '04 and why it was special to them. And he just really had that genuine ability to connect with everybody. And that's a rare trait. It really is. It was a gift.
I think one thing that I remember about Tim's career, I started watching the Sox in '04 when I was in second grade, was he kind of often was asked to take the ball and pitch in a lot of thankless innings. The ones where they were trying to save the bullpen or ones they were just trying to weather the storm. How does that kind of speak to his legacy as a player?
Yeah, he always put the team before himself, and everybody says they do, right? But not everybody does. 2007, he was kept off the World Series roster after pitching in the American League Championship Series, and that could have been a real disruption on the team. And there's no doubt he was not happy about it, but he put himself behind the needs of the team, didn't let himself be an interference, and instead wound up being a real positive guy in the clubhouse and around the team during that World Series. I always say back in 2004, Pedro Martinez was the superstar that you circled your calendar and you didn't want to miss any of his starts. Tim Wakefield was the relatable superstar, right? He threw this pitch that looked like a wiffle ball pitch you threw in your backyard. You kind of felt, man, maybe I could do that. Well, you couldn't do that. Nobody could do that. Tim Wakefield could do that. And I used to love watching him pitch. It was always so much fun on a Tim Wakefield night because you knew that these great hitters were going to look foolish, and he was amazing.
My personal Tim Wakefield story is I was at his final 200th win, and it may have been his last start. He may have had one more after that. And I'll always cherish that, but now even more so.
Daniel's going to be in.
Well, listen, my first memory of Tim Wakefield as a Red Sox player was I interviewed for the job in 1995 and stuck around that night to watch a Sox game, and Wakefield pitched. They beat the Baltimore Orioles 3-2. He went 8 in the third innings. It was his 10th consecutive win, and that was his first year in Boston, and it was a magical ride. And he wound up here 17 years and 12 years with us on NESN. We probably overuse the expression "a life well lived," but when it comes to the Red Sox, man, Tim Wakefield had a life well lived, and it was too short. But man, he packed a lot of living into those 57 years.
Well, Tom, that's all I got for you today. We want to keep it short, and we're going to try to get this on the air for 6 o'clock. And just for me personally, I just want to say thanks for the interview. You've been in my living room for about 20 years, and this was a real treat for me to be able to do this. Unfortunately, it's on this topic, and we're very, very sorry for his loss and the impact that it's the ripple effects that you guys are going through right now.
Thanks, Joe. I really appreciate that. It's nice to meet you. I appreciate it.
You too, buddy. Take it easy. All right.
All right. You too. Be well.